Alright, what is up? This is SLOplays, and I am back at it again with another Dragon Ball Sparking Zero discussion video. Keep in mind, this is not a super serious video or anything. It's just kind of more of a basic discussion on stuff that, a lot of people already know. I shouldn't have to really make a video about this, but I thought it was kind of interesting. There are things in here that I wanted to talk about and things that I personally did not know about some of the previous Dragon Ball games that I did want to discuss. Okay, so you can click off this video if you think for whatever reason it's a waste of time, as people always love to point out. Oh, this video is a waste of time. It's a waste of time, whatever. It's like, okay, if it's a waste of time, you're not interested in it, you absolutely don't have to watch it. I'm not forcing you to watch my videos, okay? This is just something that I enjoy talking about, all right? I'm making the video basically for myself, and if anybody else wants to, chime in or, just likes to listen about stuff in regards to Dragon Ball and this game, okay? It's not, like I said, it's not something that I am forcing anybody to watch. So just keep that in mind anytime I make these videos, like the one that I made about, the graphical changes and, the updates on Goku, where I spent 10 minutes analyzing that or whatever. Like, it's legitimately a fun, interesting thing that I personally like talking about, okay? So if you don't like it, you can absolutely leave this video, but if you do want to stick around, I would appreciate it, and we can, discuss this. So we're talking about the title of Sparking Zero today, okay? The just Sparking Zero, that right there, those two words, okay? That has actually confused some people, and I know that sounds weird, okay? But I'm just gonna bring it up right here. Here's just one example of many comments that I've received, many comments that I've seen on, just over the internet. Okay, I've seen it on Twitter, I've seen it on other people's video comments and stuff. There are some people who legitimately don't get that this is still Tenkaichi 4. This is the 4th Budokai Tenkaichi game, okay? Here's the example of one of the videos that I uploaded on this game. Okay, obviously showing off some of the screenshots. This person right here, and I'm not trying to call them out or, make fun of them or anything like that. I'm just using this person as an example of some of the many that are, confused. And this person right here was a little bit more stubborn, and I thought it was just kind of funny, but they said, "We will waiting for Budokai Tenkaichi 4 continue." Okay, so I know that's a little bit weird to get. The way that they worded this is kind of confusing, but what they're basically saying is, like, I'm still waiting for Budokai Tenkaichi 4 to get more info, even though this is Budokai Tenkaichi 4 still, okay? It's just called Sparking Zero, right? And I said, this is Tenkaichi 4. And they said, what? Hold on. They said,
"No, that isn't Tenkaichi 4. I think you have been triggered."
I was like, whoa, okay, what? So I just, at that point, like, when I see comments like this, anytime a person is being real stubborn or, like, just, like, completely misinterpreting things, I don't know. It's just, these are very strange comments that I get, and I get them a lot, okay? I just don't respond, okay? Like, there's no point in, I'm not gonna sit here and convince you that this game is, what it is, right? Like, I shouldn't have to do that. That's silly, that's ridiculous. And if you're gonna be stubborn about it or whatever it may be, or like just not trying to, you're in disbelief that this is Tenkaichi 4 or whatever it may be, then I'm just gonna let you do you, right? I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna convince you, right? So they also replied again, okay, without me saying anything. That's more DBZ fighters with that style. Okay, I guess they're saying the graphics kind of look like fighters, which they do, cell shaded. It looks good, right? It looks good. That's a compliment for the game, right? But that's all it has from fighters, is just a cell shaded, type of style, and that's really it. The gameplay is not fighters at all. Like, I don't know how you watch it. You watch the trailer and you're like, that's Dragon Ball FighterZ. That's the same game. Why are we getting a fight? This is Fighters 2. No. Who? Any of y'all? Did any of y'all have that thought? I doubt it. But again, I don't think that's what they're saying. I think they're saying that it's just the graphics, right? So, like I said, this is just an example of somebody who doesn't really get that this is Tenkaichi 4. This person is a little bit more stubborn. I think they know this is Tenkaichi 4, but for some reason they're not satisfied with it. I don't know. I can't explain the inner, thought process of people like this, okay? But I put on Twitter, this was yesterday, okay, I said, it's a reminder, okay, this is just a reminder for some of y'all that don't understand, Sparking Zero is the fourth Tenkaichi 4 game and a direct sequel to the original series, okay? If you think it's not, then I don't know what to tell you, right? And I like how he said I'm not, you know, like, I'm not going to sit here and convince people, but, you know, obviously right here I am trying to, but I'm just trying to explain it for some people who, you know, like I said, they just don't understand. Like, because when they see this title, it's called Sparking Zero, they're like, what is this? And there's some people that don't know about how they named it in Japan, okay? And that's why I'm going to bring this up right here. Okay, this is from the Japanese site. It says, the traditional battle system of the Sparking series, such as chasing after being blown away and countering by reading the timing, remains the same, but has evolved with the addition of new actions. The high-speed attack and defense, just like the original, heats up even more, okay? And it has up here, it says Sparking Meteor, okay? I can't remember what that translated to or whatever, but Sparking Meteor was Budokai Tenkaichi 3, okay? Sparking Neo was Tenkaichi 2, and then just Sparking was the very first Tenkaichi game, okay? I'm talking about the trilogy, all right? In Japan, that's how they named their shit, right? And it even says it right here on this is the official Bandai Namco Sparking Zero info site, or just site where they first announced everything. It says, developed by Spike Chunsoft, the developers behind the original Budokai Tenkaichi series. At that time, they were just Spike. They merged with Chunsoft, you know, several years later or whatever, but it's still, you know, the same company, right? It says, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero brings the series forward to a new era by harnessing the power of Unreal Engine 5 and pushing the envelope for gameplay and features in an arena brawler. Arena fighter, yes. Not fighters, not Dragon Ball Fighters, not a 2D fighter, okay? It's an arena fighter, right? Dragon Ball Sparking Zero also brings the franchise back, okay, back to the original Japanese naming convention, where the original Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi was titled Dragon Ball Z Sparking. That's all you got to see for those of you that still aren't convinced, right, about it in terms of the title, okay? So again, I'm not making this video for people that already know this. This is obvious, okay? This is obvious for people that have followed the series for several years. They know this, right? Like I said, there are people who were confused by this. Like, they were like, why are they calling it Sparking Zero? Okay, why didn't they just call it Budokai Tenkaichi 4? Okay, and I think, okay, they never really said why. Like, they were like, oh yeah, this is why we're doing it, right? They never said that, but I think it's because they're just trying to be consistent now, okay? Back in the day, they did a lot of this weird stuff where they would always try to change the name, I guess, to be more appealing towards the West, in a way. Again, I can't tell you why Budokai Tenkaichi was the chosen name. I think it's because of just the title Budokai. Okay, that was, you guys know, the original trilogy of the 2D fighting game that we had, you know, on PlayStation 2 and stuff, which was Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Budokai 2 and then Budokai 3. Okay, I think they just tried to add that in there, and they just like, all right, let's just call it Budokai Tenkaichi so that people know, you know, this is a game that you want to get, right? This is the next installment in a way, but it's a 3D version, you know, like for a while when Budokai Tenkaichi 1 came out, I basically called that was Budokai 4 to me, okay, at the time when that first came out, and then they were like, oh, Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and I was like, all right, we'll just keep it like that. Like, this is not part of that series anymore. But, you know, some music returned from the original Budokai games, at least like for Budokai 3, I remember was in, you know, Budokai Tenkaichi 1. And that's why I felt like, you know, it felt good. Like, it felt natural, like it was a good continuation. Like, that's why I picked that game up, because I was like, oh yeah, this is like, you know, the next installment in a way. Like I said, at that time I thought that, and it wasn't at all, right? But I had no idea because, you know, at that time, whenever that game came out and everything, and I tried it out and I played it and everything, I didn't know that it had a different name, okay? I'm talking years ago, back in like 2005, 2006 and stuff. I had no idea that it was originally called Sparking. And then I would see it had the same, you know, box arts and everything, and like I would see it online, like on the internet and stuff, like pictures of it, and I was like, why is it called Sparking? Like, what is this? Or like I'd see the Japanese intro on YouTube, and I'm like, why is it called Sparking? And I was like, oh, they just changed the name. Why did they do that? That's weird. But that's probably why they ended up doing, you know, they're bringing back the sparking title for this game, because they're like, all right, it's time that we just keep things consistent, stop fucking around with the titles and making it really confusing. And this isn't the only franchise or series that has done this. There are several series out there that were, you know, developed, or like, you know, they originated from a certain country, and when it's coming to the West and coming to, like, you know, the United States and stuff, for whatever reason, they want to fuck with the title, right? Like, I think, for example, like, this is just like a random example that I'm thinking of, like Final Fantasy. I think Final Fantasy 3, when it came to the West or whatever, they called it Final Fantasy 6 or something like some weird shit. Vice versa, one of those. Final Fantasy 3 and 6 had this weird thing, right, where they were like switching the title, or like the title was different depending on where you lived. I don't know. Okay, I could be wrong about that, but here's another example of the title changing. Okay, as you guys know, Ultimate Tenkaichi was originally supposed to be called Dragon Ball Ultimate Blast. Okay, in Japan, it's called Ultimate Blast, right? But again, for whatever reason, when they brought it to the West, or whenever they were trying to get fans, you know, into the game or whatever, whenever they were first changing, like trying to get an official title for it, because I think it was called Dragon Ball Project 2011 or whatever it may be. I didn't actually know about this. I think I heard about it a long time ago, but I forgot. But again, somebody reminded me here on Twitter that there was actually a voting process, okay, for the name. Under the codename Dragon Ball Game Project Age 2011, internauts could vote for the name of the game, okay? Now check this out. This is for people that didn't know about this, or maybe forgot, or whatever, okay? I know a lot of y'all do know about this because you were following it. Me personally, I was not following Dragon Ball games as closely as I am now, okay? You know, back in the day, I didn't even buy Ultimate Tenkaichi, okay? I saw maybe like a trailer, and then I saw gameplay. I think I tried it out at GameStop when they had it like on display or whatever, or Walmart or wherever it may be, and the gameplay was so different and not what I was looking for that I never purchased the game, and I just didn't care about it. The only thing that was, you know, appealing was the CAC system. I thought that was cool, and that was probably the only reason why I was tempted to buy it, but I never bought it because that was not Tenkaichi. All right, that was not my Tenkaichi game, right? So the choices of the names were Dragon Ball Z, Tenkaichi Z, okay, which actually that sounds pretty cool, but like there's a lot of Z's, right? Dragon Ball Z Saiyan Rising, which I like. I like that name. That's pretty cool. Dragon Ball Z Awakening Saiyans, okay. Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi, which got chosen, okay, and then Dragon Ball Z Saiyan Warriors, right? Now, this was for Europe and North America. They were asking, you know, people to vote for this name, okay? So, which is hilarious because it's the fans that we have to blame for, you know, the Ultimate Tenkaichi title. People literally thought when this first came out, it was going to be the Ultimate Tenkaichi game, okay? Whatever we thought was so fun and great about Tenkaichi 1, 2, and 3, this was the one, okay, that you would just get. It had better graphics. It was on the, you know, next generation at that time, but it was nothing like those games. All it had were the style and graphics, but the gameplay was rock, paper, scissors, and I cannot tell you anybody that, you know, really asked for that. Nobody asked for that, right? I know there are some people that really like the gameplay. Okay, there's obviously a fan, you know, community for this game, but it was not well received overall. Okay, this was one of the games that people think is one of the worst Dragon Ball games. Okay, I personally am not saying that. You know, I think the game's cool for what it is, for what they were going for, but do not call that Ultimate Tenkaichi like that. The Tenkaichi title shouldn't have even been in there. I think the name Ultimate Blast was definitely the best choice for it. Just call it Ultimate Blast, okay? You don't think of Tenkaichi when you think of this. Maybe you think of Raging Blast, okay? But I don't know. Another title that I thought was pretty cool was Saiyan Rising, or even Saiyan Warriors. I think those are cool because the CAC system, okay? You're a Saiyan. You're a new Saiyan character, right? That you could play as. You could transform into Super Saiyan for the first time, like as your OC, you know, your character that you make. So that would make a lot of sense. Like maybe Saiyan Rising, I think would have been a really good name for that game. That was one of the main parts main things of this game was the first time ever you can make your own character and do the hero mode thing, right? But yeah, that's kind of just what I wanted to talk about today. I know this video, like I said, got a lot longer than it needed to be. Whatever, I don't care. People, oh yeah, this is a pointless video, blah blah blah. I like making these types of videos. It's stuff that's kind of interesting to me, and I like to talk about it with those of y'all that maybe didn't know about this or were kind of confused on why they're calling it Sparking Zero, okay? Overall, you know, in conclusion, they're calling it Sparking Zero because they want to be consistent. They finally think, okay, it's time. We just stop making shit confusing with the title. Let's just call it Sparking, okay? Whatever we're calling it in Japan, we're going to call it everywhere else. And that's how it should be. That's really how it should be, okay? As much as I like if it would just be called Tenkaichi 4, okay, or Budokai Tenkaichi 4 or whatever, I like the Sparking Zero title. It sounds badass. It's consistent now finally, and I'm excited for this game. We know this is the 4th game, okay? This is the true 4th game. Tenkaichi Tag Team was not even a Sparking title, okay? It was literally called, like, Tag Versus. I think that's what it was called in Japan. There was no Sparking in it, which was hilarious because it basically played exactly like those, you know, games or whatever. Same thing with Raging Blast, okay? Even though those games are similar to Tenkaichi, those are separate, okay? Those are not Tenkaichi 4 and 5 or whatever you would want to call them, okay? Ultimate Tenkaichi is not Tenkaichi 4. This is the true continuation of the original series. We saw it in the info here that they explained, okay? And that's all you need to know. So thank you for watching. If you guys did watch this pointless video, as people would say, like I said, is fun. It's really fun. So I appreciate you guys sticking through. Be sure to drop a like if you did enjoy it. If you didn't, you know, you can absolutely dislike or whatever. Or if you didn't, you could like again. You know, you could like the video still and, you know, help me out in the algorithm, right? I'm just joking. Y'all have a great day. Peace.
This is Broly, and you are watching SLOplays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet.